Nicki Minaj said,
Making America great again is just making white people be above other races of people. That's it.
A woman is innocent until proven guilty, and a man is guilty until proven innocent. Good luck.
Ancient people always built around cosmic events, right? Cosmic study, right? That's why we created pyramids and things of that nature. It kept us in cosmic alignment.
What it do? Welcome back to another episode of BUA. I'm your host, Heru Adamu. Here we talk politics, love, war, business, and everything in between. They told us success was money. They told us success was fame. Now we're realizing success without sovereignty is just another lease. Tonight, we're talking about who gets used, who gets left, and who needs to wake up before 2026 hits. It's not gossip, this is strategy. Welcome to BUA. Let's get straight into it. Nicki Minaj, Turning Point USA. Now, before anybody gets emotional, this isn't about bashing Nicki. It's about how power works. Black celebrities are not chosen randomly. They're chosen because they give the optics without accountability. Let's take a look at what Dr. Umar had to say about Nicki sitting down with Turning Point USA.
her interview with Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow. I have always felt, in my opinion, is one of the most lyrically gifted female hip hop artists that we've had this century. Very talented artist. As you know, she used to date Meek Mill at one point. And, he's a phenomenal artist. And her lyrics were not far behind his in terms of quality. So she's a very talented artist, very talented musician, a very beautiful woman. When I saw her interview with Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow, it almost blew my mind because I was not aware that she had joined the Donald Trump bandwagon. So this past Sunday, December the 21st, she was in Phoenix, Arizona. It was Turning Point's USA Amerifest conference. So this is the conservative think tank, foundation, organization, and movement that Charlie Kirk helped to co-found. So she was interviewed by his widow, Erica Kirk, for about 30 minutes. And some of the stuff that Nicki Minaj said out of her mouth left me flabbergasted. She said things like Donald Trump and J.D. Vance were heroes, that they were role models for our children. She said that when they speak, she can tell that they're speaking for us, that they make us feel proud to be American. She said that they have given us a chance to beat the bad guys and win. She also said something to the effect that really bothered me. Nicki Minaj said, it's not just that, and I'm paraphrasing, I want to try to get it correct, but she said something to the effect that it's not just that we tell Black children to feel proud of themselves, but it's like we're doing that, and at the same time, we're telling other children not to feel proud of themselves. And so I guess she was alluding to this false narrative that the conservatives are putting out there, that teaching Black children Black history and teaching white children the true history of America is somehow going to make white children feel bad about themselves. That bothered me because she's a Black woman, or at least I thought she was. She clearly has Black children. So are you saying you don't mind your children growing up in a society where they cannot be taught Black history or the true history of America because some people feel it offends the self-esteem of white children?
Now, this is just an example of what's been going on with the undertone of America. Like, there's a big group of white people that feel as though other people empowering themselves is a threat to them. So there's a lot of white people coming out right now saying that, they want that's what the whole MAGA movement is, like, make America great again. Making America great again is just making white people be above other races of people. That's it. Nicki Minaj, I have no idea why she's at Turning Point USA. I have no idea why an artist or an entertainer is talking about politics at all. But it works. They had what's her name? Not Sexy Red. Glorilla. Beyonce, I think, performed for Kamala Harris to become president. And remember, Kamala Harris had 97% of American black women vote for her, which is kind of crazy because these people always vote for things that's not in their interest. Women vote for things that are not really in their interest, and then especially American black women, they advocate for things that are not in their interest. So it's kind of crazy. Nicki Minaj is just a pawn. She's been used in hip hop music to destroy black women just like every other rapper has. I think Dr. Umar is being really cautious with his words and real safe on her, just like Kevin Samuels was. Kevin Samuels interviewed Nicki Minaj. They're real hard on all the other women, but when it comes to Nicki Minaj, they're like soft on her. Like, oh, it's all good. She's a beautiful, great artist, and she did this. Like, bro, she's just a regular hip hop artist that makes regular hip hop music. She has not empowered any black women or any black men to do anything. She's a hip hop artist. You can't even do those things. Those type of things don't even go together. You know, well, they do. So like Nas is an empowering hip hop artist. You know, he has songs about empowering black people. Tupac has songs about empowering black people. Even degenerate music. They may have degenerate music, but they also have empowering music as well. At some point, you got to become an adult. You know, like when do you become an adult as an artist and make real music? That's why Nicki Minaj got with Nas, and that shit didn't work because Nas is a grown ass man and Nicki Minaj is a rapper. You see, Nas was a rapper when he was young, when he was a kid. It's a kid sport. Then he became a grown man. You see, like some of these rappers, Youngboy, whoever, Future, they never became grown men. They're still little kids. They're still rapping about Percocets and drugs and just stupid shit. Like at 33 years old. You know what I mean? So I never really understand why we even look to entertainers for any type of political value because they're not politically conscious or aware in any kind of way. But this is just another example of how they use one of our artists to distract us and confuse us because in the black community, we look up to entertainers like they mean something. I think Beyonce just became a billionaire this week and everybody was like, Beyonce became a billionaire. Like, who gives a fuck? How is that going to help you? How is Beyonce becoming a billionaire going to help the community in any kind of way? All of our billionaires are entertainers. Other communities' billionaires are actually scientists, engineers, people that create businesses, ideas, inventors, people that bring value to society. Our billionaires are people that's put in place to control the minds of black people and have them vibrating on a low vibration so that other cultures can control all the resources. Nicki Minaj is wealthy, insulated, and disconnected from the lives lived by black Americans. That's what makes her safe. She's probably been a millionaire since she's like 22 years old or something like that. She doesn't know anything. She has no idea what's going on with her community and is totally disconnected. So this isn't about who you vote for. It's about understanding when you're being played. Now, let's talk about something every man needs to hear, but nobody wants to say. Deontay Wilder said he put his stepson in his will. Then his woman left him once his career started declining. The question is being a stepfather worth it in modern relationships? Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Say what?
Right.
Why is this conversation, when you come to me, it's always about money? You know, that's another thing you get tired of. But, you know, I had to go through so much, and then him and then him and one of my kids' mother. You know what I'm saying? That my ex stole over $400,000 from me.
400?
What?
Oh,
over $400,000 from me. She killed one of my childs because she couldn't get child support in the state that she was in. They had a cap on it, so she wanted to move to California.
Oh,
see, that's where all the girls go
That's
to.
what, yeah, California
You feel? Because
got
them
the
lawyers
laws
out there
that-
waiting on them, and the laws is a woman is innocent until proven guilty, and a man is guilty until proven innocent. Good luck, and don't have no money because they're gonna extort you.
Yeah.
You understand me? Judges and lawyers knowing each other and all that, no telling, you know. And these times, motherfuckers freaking out here. They probably having sex with each other and
Right,
shit and coming
right.
on and hitting your case down. You know what I mean? I done been through so much, bro. And to go through that and to have somebody that you done taken care of for years, she was a person that lost her job she'd tell everybody she was a CPA, but you was a CNA. A certified nurse assistant. That's the lowest of the low in the hospital, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But you want to tell people you certain things because you want to look a certain part that you really not. You know what I'm saying? And now you lose your job as that. You can't even wipe ass right. You done lost your job wiping somebody's ass because you ain't wipe it right. He still stink. You know what I'm saying? And now you lose your job, you finna become homeless, and you got 2 people you taking care of. So I end up getting her and moving her with me.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And helped her out and all that stuff. And this is how you repay me?
Dang.
I took the role of being your son father, not just a daddy, but a father.
Right.
I went in so hard, bro. I went in so hard because I went in so hard to the point where I put them on my wheel. I had a meeting with my kids. I said, how y'all feel if I scoot y'all over? I scoot over a little slide and let somebody else get a little bit of it. And you know, my kids are amazing. They're my best friends. And they was down with it. So I moved a little space over and added her son in on my motherfucking wing. You ain't even my son for real.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wow. Damn. That's the ticket.
Men are taught to provide first and question later. But what happens when provisionings disappear? The love disappears too. Exactly. Men are loved conditionally. Women are loved existentially. So let's be real. Was she in love with Deontay? I don't know. Do women really love at all? I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of black men stepping up to be stepfathers out here. A lot of people don't even know the stats. Like, black men, I believe, step up to be stepfathers more than any other race combined. You know, and 85% of black men that make over $100,000 are married to black women. There's a lot of narratives out there that, you know, black men leave the family, they don't take care of their kids. But there's a lot of black fathers that step up and that are stepfathers, and then they don't calculate those stats. They're just like, yeah, the real father left. Yeah, but there was another father that stepped up and was buying clothes and shoes and paying for school and birthdays and all kinds of stuff. You know, so these stepmoms, and it's all men's fault at the end of the day, because men should guide women into who they should marry. You don't necessarily have to like marry them off, but like have a conversation with them about men and dating and those type of situations when they start dating. When I was growing up, if I was dating a girl in high school and her father, I met him, he shook my hand, looked me square in the eye, man, I respected his daughter. I brought her home at the right time. I didn't really think too sexually about things because I respected her. I wanted to deal with her long term, you know. But when her dad wasn't around, and it's just like, or he would just, another thing is just like a weak ass dad. He's just a dad that's around, but he doesn't really communicate. He doesn't have leadership skills and things like that. It's gonna make you think like, damn, this girl right here has no foundation at the end of the day, and you might not take her serious long term, you know what I mean? So the father is very important, especially for the opposite sex child. So with Deontay Wilder, what a lot of athletes deal with is getting with girls that use them for their money. But I think once you realize as a man that all women use you for something, whether it be energy, time, money, validation, is the faster you can really just start having fun and really love and appreciate women, because they just need things, you know what I mean? So it's unfortunate in this situation that women don't understand that men want to provide. They want to provide. They like to do it. Whether you have kids or not, they want to fill that void and help you out. That's in their natural instincts. Like how you have damsel in distress. A damsel in distress, like a woman, like men actually like a damsel in distress because now they have value. Now they can come help you with something. You know what I mean? But in 2025, it's been a lot of conversation online about men not being stepfathers anymore, because like the men that came before us in those generations, they stepped up to the plate. And I know like my grandfather, they had a bunch of stepkids. They just meshed all the kids together. But in today's current time, women have so much leverage, they can work, and they don't respect or appreciate a man stepping up to be a stepfather. They actually look down on them, you know what I mean? Because subconsciously they know that that's not their first choice. So this is why it's been difficult for men to be stepfathers in 2026, because all types of things go on, especially in the black community. We got incarceration rates, men get killed by the police, not to mention the whole government is just trying to break up the black family so they can control resources. So it's a lot of things that's at odds. But like I said, it's always men's fault at the end of the day. He didn't have to talk to her. He didn't have to put the kids in the will. So, but he did, you know, out of instincts, and this is just what you got to deal with. I think she left him. You know, Deontay Wilder started losing a couple fights. I don't know how his money situation was going on, but now she's gone. So maybe he will think twice about talking to a woman like that moving forward. So this is where it gets dangerous. Earn Your Leisure sits down with billionaire from Dubai, and suddenly, Black Americans start to ask the forbidden question: is America really the best place for us? Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Talk about taxes. You mentioned that at the beginning, but really break that down. That's something that's been on social media a lot as far as there's no taxes in Dubai. Is there no taxes? Is there taxes on a corporation? Like, explain the actual tax system.
So there's no income tax.
Personal
no
income.
personal tax. There's no property tax. There's no federal tax. We have 5% VAT, VAT tax, on goods, 5%, and there's a 9% corporate tax. That's on your profits of your annual year. So you understand, especially whereas you made this much revenue, how much of that is your profit? That is 9%. That's it. Now, if we compare apples and apples, the fees you pay for certain government entities comparing to what you get somewhere else is cheaper. How much do you pay for insurance?
Health insurance?
And insurance.
Like $2,000 a month.
A month? Good God, for one person?
Me and my son, 2 people.
2 people, okay, that's $1,000. So in a year, that's how much? 24,000.
24,000.
Okay, so for me, so 3 people, I remember as well, 3 people will cost me around $700 for the whole year.
For the whole year?
Whole year. But I will get private hospitals. I can walk to any place right now, get an MRI test, get a blood test, get an X-ray, get my medication all for free. Private hospitals. I don't have to wait a month or 2 months for a dentist appointment and that nonsense. That doesn't exist here. I just walk in, I get it, same day. That's the one simple thing, healthcare. So that's the whole thing. So like, the money you make stays with you.
So in America, you can make money, you can't keep it. You can speak, but you're not heard. You can vote, but nothing changes. Meanwhile, outside the USA, Black Americans are treated as investors, not threats. So it's kind of crazy how over the last 10 years, everyone has come to understanding that America is a big scam. I remember when people were scamming just the other day, like doing all those PPP loans and all of that, I kind of like didn't really feel bad for America. I was like, bro, all y'all do is scam. I can't even be mad at the scammers in the world because the whole thing is a scam. And I mean, every country is corrupt to some extent, but I think, like I said, over the last 10 years, we're starting to understand how corrupt America is. Because of social media, we have a global marketplace. We can see that in Dubai, they have better education, better roads, better institutions, better healthcare. And we're like, why are we paying 50% in taxes and not getting anything? You go outside and drive on the road, you finna fuck up your shocks. 100% you're gonna fuck up your shocks on your car just because the roads are so trash. You'll think that we're living in a third world country, you know. And then in Americans' minds, they think third world countries are third world countries that aren't even third world countries anymore. It's just like, no, you're living in a third world country that's corrupt and ghetto. You know what I'm saying? So that's how America has become, and it's like, is even the best place for us Black Americans to grow and thrive? You know, where can we go to have access to corruption? That's the question that I want to ask American Blacks, because America might not be the place. It was founded on crushing Black Americans. That's what it was founded on. So maybe if we go somewhere else, we can have more leverage and access. And other countries have been giving us access. Ghana, I believe Nigeria, I think Tanzania, a couple other African countries have allowed dual citizenship for American Blacks with African ancestry. So there are opportunities out there for us to move around, especially like going to Dubai or the UAE to do business. I don't think it's a bad idea for American Blacks, where we can save a couple dollars, still make some money in America, but offset inflation and taxes by making some money internationally in other places. You can't build a new future with a traumatized nervous system. Healing is not spiritual fluff, it's strategic. Our parents survived, we're supposed to evolve. A regulated mind outperforms raw ambition every time. Going into 2026, I think it's good that we have a strong mind as a community, and we know that we need to heal from the trauma and learn to forget some of the things that we've learned that are not conducive or helpful to where we want to go as a people. Let's take a look at what Yaki Awaken and 19 Keys had to say about healing going into 2026.
I think what you described, man, first of all, is if you think about like a utopia, you understand me? I think just hearing the description of it almost distresses your body.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Because you're envisioning being in this space. Mm-hmm. And when you talk about nature deficit disorder, I think this is probably one of the biggest issues that we face, right? a lot of people, you know, the sister before was a therapist, my sister Raquel, and I think about therapy, and I think that the nature is the therapy room.
Facts.
Right? And specifically, as we talking about original men had knowledge of nature.
Facts.
Right? When you're talking about a person being off target, right? In Hebrew, that's sin.
Yeah, sin.
Right?
You missed the
And
target.
so when we talking about being an original man and you're disconnected from origin and you disconnected from circadian rhythm and you disconnected from the cosmos, being in alignment, right? I was thinking about, well, not thinking, we're doing with our Crown Society brand, right? We have the sun, moon, and stars. And we allow the universe to dictate the drop.
Right.
Meaning that every time there might be a blood moon, right? Or there's a peak of solar cycle, then we correlate that with a color, right? That's in connection with what you should be wearing cosmically.
Come on.
Then the universe is deciding to drop, not we.
Yeah.
So what it reminds you is it puts you on a calendar, because even in Islam, you pray 5 times a day, but that's in alignment with the sun salutations.
Come on now.
You understand me? Ancient people always built around cosmic events, right? Cosmic study, right? That's why we created pyramids and things of that nature. It kept us in cosmic alignment. What does that do? It allows us to live in harmony. We're living in a constant state of tension. That's what we consider balance.
Because we separated ourselves from nature.
So, since we separated ourselves from nature, well, we didn't really separate ourselves. We're still prisoners of war, and we're under a regime of humans that are inferior, that are disconnected from nature. And that's the main thing why people can't really evolve and elevate, because they don't understand that they're not in tune with nature. So, you know, grounding, having your shoes off at the beach or in the forest, having that energetic connection, working on your circadian rhythm by working out in the sun instead of in the gym all the time, eating healthy whole foods, vegetables and fruits that energize you, herbs that can heal your mind, heart, your spirit, you know, doing the meditation, doing all the things that you need to reconnect to nature, because you are a part of nature. I think right now we're currently led by a group of individuals that are not a part of nature. They've always been anti-nature, and black people are just a part of nature. They're not even just anti-black people, they're anti-nature. That's why the rainforests are being cut down, and the deforestation of the world in general is an example of the people that are in control of the masses right now being at odds with nature. And black people just happen to be a part of nature. So in order for us to get back to our higher selves and control planet Earth, we have to use nature. We have to use the things that were given to us that are inside of us. I think that's what Avatar, I didn't see the new Avatar movie yet. I should go see that one. But I mean, the Avatar people are kind of like the indigenous people. They use nature. As you could tell, they build their houses out of trees. And they have all types of technology as well. And I think that's another thing. People think technology is about gadgets and gadgets, when technology is just anything that can help you in general, that can make your life easier. So it doesn't have to do with lights and gadgets and gadgets. As you can see in Avatar, they had a lot of technology that's natural technology. You know, putting concrete on the roads is not good. You know, it's not good for nature. It's not good for the sun. It's not good for Earth. Earth has tectonic plates and it like moves and stuff. That's why the roads are always messed up and messing up the shocks on your car, because they decided to put concrete, and nobody thought, is there any other thing we could do? There's a million other things you could do. Elon Musk just came out, was like, we could put underground tunnels and you could do anything. Really, you could do anything. There's a whole bunch of options. But the options you think of, because you went to school reading them Parson Hill books that the white man gave you, you can't even think straight or be creative. And that's the whole thing of what we're talking about. You can't tap into your creativeness and open your third eye, your pineal gland, when you're not living a natural life. You're not getting sunlight. You're not eating natural foods. You're on an unnatural cycle. Of course, you're not going to be creative. Of course, you're going to be bogged, have mind fog, be fatigued. And that's the whole purpose. They want to lock us into our own single cell box jail cells, like apartment complex or a house. And you're lonely. You're not networking with anybody. And your energy level is low. Even when you get into like ancient geometry with like prisms and things, that's why there's a prison and they're locked in there in a prison type form of box, just like this apartment is kind of boxy. You see all of the shapes are always boxy, and the architecture in general of the buildings are not flowing with the universe. That's why our ancestors had pyramids and different types of structures to like work with nature to harness energy for their well-being. Our buildings and these architecture that you see around, especially in America, are not good for flowing. You know, like Pocahontas used to run with the wind. This shit is not good for running with the wind. It'll have you running into the wind. You know what I mean? It's just not conducive for nature. So that's something we can consider, like especially moving into 2026, is make sure you work on your healing, because the entire system is there to break you down and keep you at a lower vibration. So get in tune with nature, get in tune with yourself. Make sure to work out in the sunlight. Sunlight is huge. Like, of course, white people don't care about sunlight. They're like, you need to be in the office 9 hours a week. I'm sorry, 45 hours a week, 9 hours a day out of the sun. Even these schools. My high school was kind of like different. It was kind of outside. And I always thought about that. Like, my high school was outside. When you walk outside of the classroom, you're literally outside. And then, but I see it go to some other schools back in high school, and I'm like, damn, it's like a jail in here. Y'all don't even have outside. And that school was a lot more hood. It was a lot more fighting going on. It was kids had guns at school. It was like that. It was like, damn. But my school was like still kind of in the hood, but it wasn't as bad. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of that had to do with us getting sunlight when we walked outside. No kidding around. So 2026, it's a magical year. It's a consequence year. Everything you ignored, everything you delayed, everything you refused to unlearn, the bill is coming soon. So let's see what Billy Carson had to say about realigning ourselves, moving into the new year.
And so 2026, what can we do to change the way that we enter into this year, you know? Well, one of the biggest things that you can do is you can begin to cut cords. We have to cut cords from everything that's not serving us. If you go into 2026 with these cords still attached, these energetic cords, they can still hold you back. We're talking about energetic cords that are connected to old relationships, right? Old ways of thinking, self-sabotaging, people and friends that no longer serve your greater good. You begin to recognize that they're not really there for you. They are there because of you. And that once something goes wrong with whatever you have going on, they're going to disappear or chastise you anyway. Cutting cords with people that are giving you the illusion of being there to support you when they're not really supporters. All right? Cutting cords with situations that put you in financial debt or situations that are holding you back financially. All these things. And there's other cords that need to be cut. The mindset of lack of work on self. A lot of people are very lazy to work on themselves. That's a type of an energy. It's almost like alcohol. There's a spirit in alcohol, which is why they call them spirits. There's also a spirit that exists in all these different things. There are different versions or different energies of you, and you got to cut cords with some of those energies, those bad energies, right? Another thing you have to cut cord with is your abuse of yourself. Lack of taking time for yourself, lack of thinking about yourself and putting yourself first, and putting too many other people ahead of you. Your punishment of yourself for mistakes that you've made in the past. Some of those mistakes could have been a decade or two ago. They're gone. And we're still energetically attached to those cords from those situations that we haven't even forgiven ourselves yet.
Now, what Billy is talking about is energetic leaks, like drinking, smoking, which costs money, right? Weed costs money, cigarettes cost money, Black and Milds cost money, alcohol costs money, dating women that don't really fuck with you costs money. All of those things cost money. Dealing with friends and family that don't support your business, following people on Instagram that you don't even like, all of that stuff is energy leaks. And it's gonna lead you back to a looping situation where you can't find a way out. And I think it's good that you Focus on where your energy leaks are. Who are the people that you want to keep in your life? What are the ideas that's beneficial to you and helping you move forward? Because a lot of the times we need to unlearn behavior that's not beneficial for us, but it's comfortable to us. Change is uncomfortable, even if that change is good for you. So, you know that this is maybe hurting you, hanging out with these people or doing these type of activities or having these habits. But to break those habits, you're in the unknown, and the unknown is kind of scary, even though it may be more beneficial for you. So a lot of people go back to what they do know, even if it's trauma, danger, being unhealthy, because they're familiar with those emotions and those feelings and the things that they know. So 2026, like I said, it's coming, it's here, and it's not just going to be another year. If this episode made you uncomfortable, good. That means you're still awake. And in BUA, we're going forward, not backwards. So pay attention to where you want to go, who you want to be, and focus intently on that so that people and things can pop up in your life that are helpful